Okay, so do any of you ever, take off those contacts? I know they're a little different than glasses. You take them out and then you just flush them down the toilet. Anybody? I throw mine away. But it turns out it may seem harmless doing so, but it could actually contaminate our water. Let's find out why.
45 million people in the United States wear contact lenses.
I think people should enjoy a clear vision.
But there is one issue, the way people dispose of them.
I used one a day and then I throw them in the garbage.
I'd flush them.
Sometimes you lose one down the sink, yeah, but normally I throw them in the garbage.
A new study found that out of the 15 billion lenses being discarded every year in the U.S., 3 billion are flushed down the toilet or sink. A concern for scientists who say this may contribute to the problem of microplastic pollution.
We have an issue with disposing these contact lenses into the sink or into the toilet and sending them into wastewater, which ultimately becomes drinking water and also creates a route for contamination of land through application of sewage sludge.
Rolf Halden, professor at Arizona State University and director of the Biodesign Center for Environmental Health Engineering, is one of the researchers. He and his colleagues surveyed 400 people.
We wouldn't flush hypodermic needles, would we? Right? So don't do this with your contact lens.
Halden says when the lenses make their way to a wastewater treatment facility, they do not biodegrade easily, which is a problem.
And they create something that's known as microplastics or even nanoplastics. So a single lens can produce thousands, if not millions, of small fragments. Where do they travel? Do they get into our food, into our drinking water, into our soil? And are we getting exposed to these particles? And what is the chemical load that these plastic particles can shuttle?
Professor Halden says the reason why many people don't know how to properly dispose of their contact lenses is because many of the manufacturers don't put that information on the packaging.
Your box, does it say how to properly dispose of them?
I don't think so.
On the Upper East Side, I'm Jessica Formoso, Fox 5 News.
Wow. Jessica there interviewed somebody from Arizona State University, a local professor right here. That's pretty cool. Okay, this next story. Surprises are always fun for kids, especially when they come a week early. That's what happened in California to two sisters at the end of the school day who didn't expect to see their mom waiting outside after nearly a year away from home on deployment.
It's 3:15, end of the school day. Parents are pulling into the lot to pick up their kids from Galt Adventist School.
Okay, I'm not gonna cry. This is so exciting.
Principal Cynthia Ackerman welcomes a mom who hasn't been able to pick up her daughters in a year. U.S. Army Captain Cynthia Jones spent this past year serving in Iraq as a Chinook pilot. Her daughters didn't know she was coming home today. Kindergartner Mary was the first to find out.
Oh, hi!
Mary had to run and tell her sister, third grader Naomi, the awesome news.
They've grown so much, and there's probably a lot that's happened over this last year that I've missed, but I'm excited to come back and be a part of this.
Cynthia's husband Dan knows the sacrifice very well. He served in Afghanistan. This year he was focused on serving his family.
I know the girls really wanted her back for a long time and trying to keep them occupied to make the time go by faster. But it's awesome having her back. It's been long, so I'm glad.
What did you think when you saw her?
I was so happy. I was shocked. I didn't know what I would do without a mom in my life. It made me really proud to see that she was home.
It's been a tough year for them and for Dad. They've all worked together, but we know that Cindy's been doing something important. It's important to serve our country. And so she gave up being a mom for a year and went and served our country. So we're proud of her for that.
With family, it means just being complete and being home and having that love that you have when you're all together.
We're so glad our mom's home.
What are you looking forward to the most?
Spending as much time with her as we can.
Those coming home stories never get old, right? Thank you to each and every one of the United States military members who sacrificed their personal and family lives to protect our country. Okay, this next top story we have for you here on News Now. Chronic pain sufferers say they've been victimized again by new drug regulations set to curb opioid abuse. We've heard about the epidemic here. Rallies held across the West this week to protest the new restrictions. Fox's Tim Joyce has more from one Seattle rally organized by patients who say they're being punished for being in pain.
We are not criminals. We are just in pain.
Mickey Forrester spends her days in and out of a wheelchair. She's suffering from a nervous system disorder.
I'm gonna have to go sit down in a minute, guys.
Called complex regional pain syndrome.
It's the difference between laying in bed crying and getting up and going kayaking.
Since 2007, she's been in chronic pain because her brain reads pain signals from nerves that think she's injured. Dog Pip is by her side to let her know when she's about to have an episode of uncontrollable convulsions.
It just lets us have quality of life.
This rally at the University of Washington Medical Center is one of 4 statewide and even more nationwide to raise awareness of the difficulties patients with chronic debilitating pain are dealing with now that CDC rules on prescribing pain meds are causing doctors to scale down or eliminate opioid medications these people say they need to function.
The CDC has never seen my medical records. They have never examined me. They have no right to change my prescription.
Mickey says she understands the new CDC rules came about from the national health crisis that has been emerging from the historic overprescribing of pain medications. CDC numbers show that more than 350,000 people died from prescription or illegal opioids between 2009 and 2016.
Believe me, I didn't want this disease.
But she says the new guidelines are too strict and put bureaucrats between her and her doctor. Q13 News reached out to several pain clinics around the region, and no physicians were available to comment.
I have had 11 back surgeries.
This is just some of the hardware they've removed from Maria Higginbotham's back. She has a hereditary degenerative condition where the bones in her spine are crumbling away.
Patients aren't addicts.
The hope here is to raise awareness and get people to contact their state and federal legislators and the CDC to roll back some of the harsh restrictions people in chronic pain say they're enduring.
It's a horrendous life. There's no joy left in it.
I'm Tim Joyce, Q13 News.
All right, let's continue our national top stories and headlines tour. But we're going to stay on the West Coast, California, because pipe leaks can be hard to detect and even harder to fix. The San Francisco Water Department trying a new method to stop water damage with smart fire hydrants. The high-tech devices can pinpoint underground water leaks that humans can't. Fox's Tom Vakar tells us how it all works.
The 158 smart hydrants are monitoring a vast area between 100 and 200 square blocks of Diamond Heights and Glen Park.
These are listening for leaks in the water pipes that are so small that we cannot detect them from above the ground. Even a very small leak can be leaking hundreds of gallons per minute.
They can find leaks long before they become underground gushers that undermine the ground and cause pipes or joints to fail.
We can actually go and proactively dig up the pipes, repair them before these leaks surface and cause a lot of property damage and disruption of our water service.
The system can track more than leaky pipes. In fact, if you even have a leak in your house, they can track that leak all the way to your water meter and then send you a notice that you have a water leak inside your own property, which it's your responsibility to fix. The listening devices called loggers do their job in the wee hours of the morning.
So these loggers are listening between 2 and 4 because it's the time when everyone's asleep in bed, so it's the period of least demand. So any demand that happens during those hours is most likely a leak.
Because the sensors listen to the pipe several times during those hours and automatically call in the results every night, the occasional toilet flush will not fool it.
Yeah, there's a team of engineers that look at it, and then they try to pinpoint the leak within 5 to 6 feet of where we think the actual leak is before our leak detection crew goes out and investigates.
The leak crew then uses a high-tech listening device to precisely pinpoint the leak, which speeds up repairs because not as big of an excavation hole is required and the leak is still more manageable. The post-repair road patch is also often a tiny fraction of what it would have been before this system.
So we've already found 4 pretty good-sized leaks that we have repaired.
Wow, that's interesting. I know finding water leaks is always a hassle sometimes. All right, 2 more top stories. Everybody ready for this one? We're going to go out to Minneapolis now, where staff surprised a coworker with sign language. Happy birthday.
Eric is a breath of fresh air. He works with his disability with a smile, and he's just easy, an easygoing soul.
For the last 4.5 years, Eric Curry has worked as a busser and bar back at the Yard House in St. Louis Park. But a few weeks ago, his coworkers gave him a sign to let him know how much he means to them.
I just thought it was something important to show another team member that he's more than cared about just on the floor. He's cared about as a person, as a friend, as a family.
Eric lost his hearing after surviving spinal meningitis when he was 3 months old, and his coworkers mostly communicate with him through writing. But for his birthday, they wanted to sing happy birthday to him in a way he could understand.
It's a couple people's birthdays, and we were celebrating out, and I just realized he was sort of sitting off in the corner because everyone was being really loud and rambunctious, no time to write. And I just realized, it'd be really nice to be able to include him in something or do something for him that was recognized. Happy birthday to you.
So about a dozen of Eric's fellow employees learned enough sign language to record this video of themselves signing the birthday song in front of the restaurant. They posted it to Eric's Facebook page on his birthday because he didn't work that day, where it quickly became the best birthday present he could get.
It was a mix of emotions. I couldn't stop. I couldn't stop crying. It was so great that they did that for me. I love that. I love that feeling. It's like a family.
Now, some of the Yard House employees have been inspired to learn more sign language. It may seem like a small gesture, but to Eric, it's the language of love.
He deserves it. He deserves to be able to be communicated with in the language he knows, and that's sign language.
Oh my goodness, feel good Wednesday indeed, wouldn't you all say? I know that I tried learning sign language in elementary school. I checked out a book from the library, but all I remember to this day is the alphabet pretty much and some other sign language gestures. Okay, let's get you all caught up with today's business briefs.
Social Security checks could rise by 2.8% next year. That would be the biggest increase in 7 years. The Senior Citizens League is forecasting the jump. While the increase is down from the group's previous forecast of 3%, it would still boost the average beneficiary's check by $39 a month. A new report shows retailers could ring up more than $1.1 trillion in holiday sales. Deloitte is crediting record low unemployment and strong consumer confidence for the strong forecast. Retail sales are expected to grow up to 5.6% from a year ago. Sony going retro. The electronics giant will sell a mini version of its first PlayStation console starting in December. 20 classic games will come preloaded on the device, and it will set you back $100. That's business. For more, log on to foxbusiness.com. In New York, I'm Lauren Simonetti.